22 of the quilts will be packed by rolling them into 3 bundles. This process should be completed on a clean bed sheet or other fabric. Place the quilt face down and place a layer of muslin on top. Continue stacking the quilts and muslin sheets in the order prescribed in the written instructions. The quilts will then be individually rolled as depicted here.
To the muscle.
So it's important to make sure that the muslin comes with each individual quilt. It's also important that white gloves be used in this process, regardless of how clean your hands are. We want to make sure these pieces last for generations. It's also important when 2 people are doing this that they roll at the same speed. Even a slight change can cause it to go at a strange angle and mess up the entire roll.
It needs to be tight.
And it needs to be quite tight as well.
How big is this? There's a box. Suppose it is gonna fit. Let's see my big. Can you show her the big size? How big it is? Very. Okay, yeah, okay.
This is Andrea Huffman's mangrove piece, and the rod has been glued to the fabric, which is not typical, but it is what it is. And so it's got a special wrapping procedure here. A little bit of bubble wrap goes around it, gets tucked up under that, and then the rolling continues for this piece with the remainder of the bubble wrap going around. And then this will be tied with a fabric strip.
So that we can continue.
And then the rolling continues with the next piece. So there are 3 rolled bundles of quilts. And bundle 2, the last piece on the roll, is the monarch butterfly piece. And this one is really important because there are so many delicate pieces at the top. We want to make sure that each of the butterfly wings is folded flat. It doesn't crunkle up underneath, if crunkle is a word. And we also want to make sure that the mossy edges are protected. So very carefully rolling bundle number 2 in its last piece of muslin. Again, all these wrinkles are important because they could pass on their impression to the quilt piece below. Completed, it gets tied with 2 narrow strips of muslin. Again, being careful not to wrinkle anything below. And then just tied in a simple bow.
Tight, but not too tight.
Not too tightly. We don't want to have a big crease or buckle where the strip is located. Once those are completed, and it can be gently placed into the box. And then along with that would be all the sticks for those 8 pieces tied into a bundle, carefully placed in on top. And that box is ready to go. Lay a piece of muslin down on a clean table.
That's okay.
Then the quilt comes in face up
We start the order wrong.
without the rod in it. The rod has been removed from the top. Next comes an additional piece of muslin over top, and this is a wider piece of muslin because of that little tail of the swallowtail that sticks out. Make sure all is smooth and unwrinkled. And then a piece of bubble wrap, pink in color, comes in. It's important that this is top and bottom as labeled so that the center line is right at just above the caterpillar's head on the piece. The caterpillar and the butterfly both have paint on them, and they are fragile and can crack, so this is why this is so important. Next we have some rolls of bubble wrap. The first one actually has a piece of air conditioner tubing inside. It is labeled number 1, and that goes just above the caterpillar's head. And then number 2 also has a tube inside, and they are sequentially numbered for a total of 6 pieces. Once all 6 pieces are laid in, the bottom of the quilt and all the muslin that's associated with it comes and gently folds over against those rolls. So we have this. Alright, this is the special packing video for Pink Ladies, which is the orchids and the forest from Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We start with a plain piece of muslin laid flat on the table, and then the quilt comes in and gets laid face up with the orchids down towards the bottom, making sure that all the wrinkles and whatnot are out of the way. An additional piece of muslin then comes in and gets laid up on top of that. Again, making sure that all parts are covered, no wrinkles, no twists, no turns. Once the muslin is on top of the piece of bubble wrap comes in and gets laid on top of that muslin. And push it towards the bottom of the piece. That's the most important area to be protected, since that's where the orchid and the log are. So we want to then take the bundle that we created before out of the swallowtail butterfly piece and place it up towards the top end of the Pink Ladies piece. So now we have 2 pieces that are being packed together, making sure that everything's just right, and then the bottom of the Pink Ladies quilt gets folded over the top of the swallowtail quilt. And that's the end of that one. We will have one more piece in this bundle. Okay, so this is how to pack End of Eden, which is another one of the so-called problem children pieces. We have a layer of muslin down on the table. We bring in the quilt. This time it is face down. This is different than the previous 2 problem pieces. So we are placing it face down. So there's a little bit of extra muslin top and bottom. We are bringing in a piece of foam that is labeled for this piece, and it goes at the bottom of the piece where the thimble and the crystal are to give added protection there. So that goes underneath like that. A second piece of muslin then comes in and gets laid over the entire back of End of Eden. And then, again, we want to keep that bottom piece out and open. We're going to bring in a piece of, we're going to fold that up. Sorry about that. I'm going to fold that piece up, and it might stay up for a few minutes, but it'll take some time here.
At both ends.
both ends. And then we're going to bring in a piece of bubble wrap. And this bubble wrap has been pieced together because we care about the planet and we're saving plastic. So the bubble wrap is laid on top, and then we're going to bring in our previous two special packed pieces, and we are going to place it on top of End of Eden. Carefully aligning everything so everything's just so. And then we bring the top of End of Eden along with its muslin and bubble wrap over top. And so now we have 3 of the special wrapped pieces all together in one bundle. Okay, so this is the special projects, or special quilt, go ahead. Special quilts, and we have put 3 of them together into a bundle. We are tying them lightly with some muslin strips, simple bow, and then that entire package is going to get slipped inside of a muslin bag to make it easier to get in and out of the box. Okay, so once it's inside, kind of like putting a pillow in a pillowcase, you're going to tuck those edges down and around. And then we're going to take that entire pillow and put it into the cardboard box. Perfect. All right, once it's in the box, we will add a bundle of bubble wrap on top of it, and then the sticks for these 3 pieces will go in, and then the flaps come in, and it is ready to go into the big crate. All right, so here's the packing instructions for at what cost.
Lay out the muslin, put the art side down, center it, fold each end up and this down, wearing your gloves, fold them over gently without pulling. Just keeping the muslin straight. Fold in the ends before you do the last one. And then fold it up. This is the tricky part, folding it up. There's a chart here on which way goes first, with directions how to do this. Place the art on top and tie. Place the whole piece on the bubble wrap, face down, open the cardboard and place this inside. Done.
So here's how to break down the entrance sign if you've decided to use the shelves, or if you're setting it up and decide to use the shelves. This will come apart. These brackets come out. They are not glued in. They just kind of fit tightly in, a little tighter than I thought. There we go. And these pop out. And then they don't pop out easy though, but it's just a tight fit is all it is. There we go. Sorry about that. You reach inside and you'll see a little button right here. Push down on the button and the shelf slides off. Same for the opposite side over here. Just reach right in, push the button, and it slides right off. Those will go in a separate case. To break down the main part of the sign, just reach to the top. There's a zipper across the top. Unzip in each direction. And this is also a tight fit. Just stretch the fabric slightly off and it drops right down. No need to take it off the base. We just drop it down like a pair of pants down at the ankles. Pop this off. Folds in half. Pop this off. And it breaks down as well. These brackets for the shelves can come off using the Allen wrench that comes with the piece. Just loosen and loosen. And when it's all together, they will slide right off. The shelf brackets and shelves go into the smaller of the two cases. This piece simply goes right in there with all the fabric like that. There are two bands, one for the T-pole. It's like a giant rubber band. That goes over there inside the case. This folds into 5 sections. The other rubber band goes on the main pole like that. Everything lays together. Make sure everything's tucked in. Seal this across and zipper it closed, and it's ready to go. The shelving units go into the opposite container. There's a spare shelf that we will keep here at Biscayne should anything happen. That goes in here. This bracket goes in here. These brackets go here as well. And again, everything zips closed, ready to be packed in the big box.
Allen wrench.
And don't forget to put the Allen wrench in there too. We do have an instruction card that comes with it. The Allen wrench will be taped to the back side of that, and that will fit inside this case here. Thanks for watching. All right, now that the show's over, we're going to pack it back up, and we want to show you exactly what to do. From an empty box, please make sure you're using the bottom one. It should be labeled bottom there. We're going to take first box 4. And it can go in 2 ways. So we want to make sure we put it nice and flat like this, centered in there. And then we will take boxes number 1, number 2, and number 3, and place those on top of box number 4. All nicely aligned. And then we have our box number 5 and our spare box going right on top there. Over on this side here, we have our 2 boxes of signs. And those are going to go right down here next to one another, centered in the space. We have the the squatter of the two ovals with the case, with the entrance banner, goes right there. The bag of white gloves can go down here in this corner. And then the box of catalogs. Even if it's empty, we're going to keep this box of catalogs in here. I may have to shift things around a little bit. It is a tight fit right here. So we're going to make sure that gets in there. It's a nice tight fit. This might shift up a little bit like that. And then the longer of the two black ovals rests on top here. We have our two binders that get dropped in here. And then all that extra space we're going to fill with bubble wrap and whatnot. Once again, if you find that the bubble wrap is all broken down from travel and whatnot, please do go ahead and replace that. We want to make sure that we fill the space. We need to fill it to 12 inches above this edge right here in order to keep things from shifting around too much on the top. So go ahead and pile things on. Ideally, when you use wrapping, we want to use the lightest material possible to save on our shipping costs, of course, right? All right. Once we have all the bubble wrap kind of piled up on top, we'll pick up the lid and flip it over. You want to make sure that the black handles are aligned with one another, both top and bottom. If you don't do that, it won't latch shut and you'll know that you've got it wrong. Once it's all aligned, flip this little latch up, put it over top there, push down and twist this a full half turn around. Do that all the way around the box to secure it closed. We will bring, oh, one more. Thanks, cameraman. And then we will bring the straps up and over. And these will go right inside this second groove here, covering over the first latch a little bit. These straps have a nifty little neoprene cover that slides back. So you're gonna kind of pull that back a little bit. They're brand new, so they're a little stiff. Bring the strap up through the bottom and across the top here. Once you've got it kind of tight, then you can put your weight into it and give it a good solid pull, and it will tighten down. Pull the neoprene back over top, and then put a piece of tape just to secure this trailing end here. You'll label the box and contact me if you have not already received the shipping information. We are shipping these by FedEx, and the cost of the shipping is covered in the show. So do not do this on your own and send a bill to us. That will cost way too much, okay? Thanks so much, and we are going to make sure that both of these are done, but I kind of figured you knew that, right? Thanks so much.